Go ahead and let's do number 11 on your homework. So this time we have a big fraction, a big complicated fraction being raised to the negative fourth power. So let me see if I can simplify inside the parentheses first, make this thing a little bit less complicated. So I like to draw my lines right down the middle. I have a 3 over a 6. Well, that's the fraction 3/6. What does that reduce to? That's 1/2. I have s to the negative second. Sorry, that's a little hard to read. S to the negative second over s to the third. When I'm dividing with the same base, I'm allowed to subtract these exponents. Negative 2 minus 3. So I'm starting at negative 2 and I'm getting even smaller. That's s to the negative fifth. T to the seventh over t to the negative fifth. Again, I'm dividing with the same base, so I can subtract these exponents. That's going to be 7 minus negative 5. Remember, when you subtract a negative, that's going to turn into a plus. So 7 minus negative 5 is the same as 7 plus 5. That's 12. And remember, this whole thing is being raised to the negative fourth power. So here I have product inside parentheses being raised to a power. Everything inside parentheses, the 1/2, the s to the negative fifth, and the t to the 12th, are being raised to the negative fourth power. So that's going to get, I can draw my arrows since I do this in class. And that's going to look like this. 1/2 to the negative fourth, s to the negative fifth to the negative fourth, and t to the 12th to the negative fourth. So, okay. There's a couple different ways to do this. I think the way I want to explain it the most is that rule where if I have a fraction raised to an exponent, that's like the same as having the numerator raised to the exponent and the denominator raised to the exponent. So I'm going to make this 1 to the negative fourth over 2 to the negative fourth. And we'll stop there. I'm going to go back to it. Here I have a negative 5 to a power of negative 4, a power raised to another power. I can multiply them. That's s to the positive 20th. And same thing over here, multiply my exponents. That's going to be t to the negative 48th. Okay, so let's go back over to this fraction here. In all the instances where I have a negative exponent, I have to do cross the line change of sign. So I have a negative down up here. That's going to cross to go to the denominator. But I have a negative exponent in my denominator that's going to come up to my numerator. So they're going to kind of just switch. That's kind of, I know I've talked about it before, how a negative exponent is just like an inverse. So it really is just flipping this over. So this is going to end up being 2 to the positive fourth on the top and 1 to the fourth on the bottom. And let me rewrite what else I had. And so 2 to the fourth is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's going to give me a positive 16, and 1 to the fourth is just 1. So I have 16 just from this whole part right here. S to the 20th, t to the negative 48th. And I'm not done yet because I do have a negative exponent still. So I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to take my t to the negative 48th, and I'm going to cross the line, change the sign. So 16s to the 20th will stay in the top. They didn't have to move anywhere. They didn't have negative exponents. But the t had a negative exponent, so that got brought down, and the exponent will now be positive, t to the positive 48th. And this is my final answer. Now, for those of you who may have tried your homework already and are maybe did it a different method, that's fine. There's a lot of different ways to do these problems. For instance, up here where I had the 1/2 to the negative fourth, if I knew I could cross the line, change the sign right away, or if I knew I could do the inverse, you could have done this portion a little bit differently. You also could have done the inverse right away because you had a negative 4 power right to begin with, so I could have taken the inverse of that fraction to start. So again, just a lot of different ways to do these problems. This is just one suggested method, my preferred way, that I think is the easiest and will lead to the least amount of mistakes. All right, good luck on the rest of your homework.